Second.
No. If there's no further discussion. All in favor of approving the minutes of June 5th, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Okay, I don't know if it's Dick here on,
He's not.
so do you wanna postpone that as he posted them on, or?
I mean, I think we can still discuss it. Did you get the letter that he wrote?
Yes. Okay, so, did everybody get the letter from Dick and the letter from the state? Indicating, why the. Whatever, so what do we want to do about that?
Well, Dick called me a couple of weeks ago, and asked if I had, or the board, myself had read the letters, and I said, what are you talking about? Because I didn't know anything about the letters, and I never received the letters. And he explained in detail what was going on with the culvert, that it's too small, and when they have heavy rain, it overflows and goes into his both the barns, and to the extent that he's had to hire folks to get the silt and debris out of the barn. And the big barn, the water is coming in and it's starting to erode that main beam in the front. Concerning because barn uses the barn for hay. And he did not understand why he couldn't get the culvert in this year, because Bill had mentioned to him week prior to the phone call that he wasn't getting it right. And then I mentioned to Morgan what was going on the conversation I had with him, and he's very upset. And apparently there's a culvert above his property coming off Woodchuck Hill, which also needs repair. I think Colby can speak to that. And he wants something done. He said that culvert has to go in. Both buildings, all buildings on his land are historic. I'm a registrar. And he has receipts of what he spent so far. He didn't give me a number, but it sounded significant.
There might be a solution. I spoke to Morgan about it. I don't know, have you researched it any further, Morgan?
About that grant.
Yeah, there is a grant out there. It's a couple of $1 million, I think. And it's for like, if you have a building that got flooded, you can buy it. If there's danger to the building, I don't know exactly all the language, but I asked Morgan to go look at it because that might qualify. If his barn is still a barn being eroded.
I think it is for land that the town wants to purchase
Yeah, but
in preparation for a flood event. So I don't think this culvert in particular qualifies, because he doesn't want to sell his barn and that piece of land.
no, but I thought it was also for others, but no, that was the whole thing.
No, it was all just for,
But,
I had asked Morgan to check that out too. So I'm hoping the board would look into this.
well, does anybody know what the estimate was?
Colby, can you,
$36,784.
Okay. So if we want to do that, we have to find $36,000 somewhere in the budget that's not budgeted for.
there's another figure.
Well, that's the total price of the trucks, materials, the waste blocks, the culverts, the hydro seed, the stitching stone, the stone line it, and the trucks, time, and excavator time, and then needed and next time. too.
this was also priced in October. So
Yeah.
last fall, so
Well, that,
price
yeah,
of
that,
materials might have changed.
the culvert then was $370 a foot. And now I'm I didn't get a chance to call it TJP, but I'm guessing it's probably in the $400 now.
Yeah, probably gonna be more money,
Yeah,
at least 10% more probably.
yeah.
How big is it, 45 feet?
It's a 40 foot.
Yeah, 40 feet long and it was 5 feet. It's a 5 foot split, so it's like 4 feet tall and 6 feet wide.
No, they're gonna help you with the grant the next time to
Yeah,
juice it up a little bit.
yeah, so I now have a contact person that can come in and walk me through it.
Is there any Band-Aid or anything up there to help them out? No,
So like I was over some big enough, I just can't take it.
Right now, it's a 3 foot culvert
Yeah,
diameter.
What would you add in the 5 foot, about 5 footer going into a 3 footer?
yeah.
That's why it would,
But put that way, well,
didn't have to.
I don't know, something's changed up above, but it's just I can't take it. And then plus there's a little bit of water runs down the road, but. I mean, nothing huge that runs down, but the culvert probably above it could be replaced too.
We're going in Woodchuck Hill.
The one at the bottom of Woodchuck Hill, but we also talked about putting another one in. From Woodchuck Hill down, we'll come into the same outlet as this big one that we talked about replacing. To help stop the water running down by the barn. But that wasn't added to this either, that was completely separate too.
But I mean, there's no question it should be done, but, I mean, normally we do these culverts with a grant.
What about reserve monies?
I don't know what we would have for reserve money and what reserve money we will end up with will be part of our 15% of our grand list for unanticipated for taxes. Pulls us over from August to
And don't
the year
forget,
end into August, a recommendation by Fred.
we have $1 million bridge. So if there's extra funds, that would lessen the.
Right, because we're already having to look at borrowing between 7 and 900,000.
Well, I guess I want to advocate for Mr. DeRozier. A longtime resident, never seems to complain, and all of a sudden he's getting 6 years at the end of the farms. He's one of the good old boys, and I'd like to see the town give him over. That's one bit.
I mean, it's very simple, we can do it, where's the money gonna come from? That's the question.
Then who's gonna be the next one that comes along and
Exactly.
say, I've got damage from water coming out of this culvert, you're gonna help me out. And there's gonna be no end to it, once you start.
Well, I don't think he has the means financially to put the bill.
it sounds like next time the grant comes around, it sounds like we're gonna have a better shot at it. I
Yeah,
mean, I know it's no guarantees, but. And what's the timeline on that?
I think it's not until the fall. I think it's yearly and applications are usually due in December.
We'll get it this year.
So we wouldn't be able to do any work until a year from now.
But it could be done next year.
But it's not a guarantee that the grant will go through. Like,
No.
it's not.
Is that how we replace all the culverts is the grants?
All the big ones,
But this is not a big problem.
4 foot's a pretty big one. And it's not like a culvert that you put in the island and roads.
We're doing one on North Orchard Road that's a 4 footer, but it's half the length of this one. I mean, I don't know what's our culvert budget.
I don't,
It's not that much, I don't think.
yeah, I don't keep track of it.
Yeah. No way we can buy it out of the culvert budget, so. If we did, it'd screw us for the rest of that year. We wouldn't be able to buy culverts for our daily projects, so.
Yeah, remember, we do have a culvert budget, several years.
How do you estimate that budget?
The culvert budget?
Yeah.
I don't know how you estimate, we just have it there so we can buy more culverts.
But how do you determine what culverts are gonna go in?
Oh, well, if they're completely failed. They don't replace them that are failed.
But this one has failed.
The one down at Dick's, that one hasn't failed, it just can't, it's not big enough. But that's a completely different scenario, that's not I'm talking like 15-inch, 18-inch culvert, not a 5-foot culvert,
Well, any large culverts are usually through the capital budget.
yeah.
And they try to schedule them by knowing what needs to be done within so many years. They can tell which ones are failing usually, and Mike gives us an estimate. So the large ones usually go into the capital budget. Small ones, we usually buy through your supplies, and small culverts get
Yeah. You can't,
bought with that.
you can't spend that culvert budget on that, because what would you do for the rest of the year when you need a culvert for all the other stuff?
So this culvert couldn't go on a capital budget.
No, no, the capital, it can't go on the culvert budget.
I think the best you can do is do it next year, either through a grant or through the capital budget.
Morgan, could you check to see if either through the Vermont League of Cities or Wyndham Regional Commission, if there's some kind of grant, since there is, this is a historic building involved,
Yeah.
if that makes a difference. I mean, this barn's on the National Register of Historic Places, so it may make a difference. I mean, it could be destroyed by this, so.
See, that's why I thought that grant, Morgan, you might be able to fit it in with that one there.
I haven't contacted the person that sent it out, so I'll.
I had to contact them just and explain the situation.
Yeah. But I'll look for other ones if that doesn't work out.
And I'd like to go on record that whatever you're doing or pursuing that Dick has knowledge of that.
Yeah.
Because one of the big factors was no one was talking to him and informing him. He was promised by Bill that he was gonna get hold.
And that's unfortunate because it was never guaranteed that funds were available.
Well, we didn't know that.
I know. I know.
I spoke to him earlier and told him we were applying for a grant for that culvert, and if we got it, we would do it this year. I told him.
But he didn't hear from us or Morgan, heard from somebody else.
Well, he heard it from me, because I told him that earlier.
He heard from them,
And at that time, that grant looked like we were gonna get it.
but they weren't.
I didn't tell him that we had the grant, I told him we applied for the grant.
But why don't we table this and put it on the next agenda, and let's see if we can't find any other, funding sources that we have, that would be the best thing. Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Okay. Tim, you're gonna tell us about.
I was gonna talk about the IT situation that we have for our cybersecurity and our overall security for the town. I got notification just about a month ago that we have Dominion Tech right now, and Dominion Tech informed me that they're having a rate increase as of August 1st of like 20%. I know when we were going through the whole cybersecurity, getting our firewall built and all, we went back and forth with them quite a bit. We had some difficult times, but we made it through it. Then to get this 20% increase, so I started searching around. I have until August 1st before the increase happens. And if I do something before August 1st, I'm okay. Otherwise, I'm locked in till November 1st, because this is a yearly. We started with a 3-year back in 2018, and then after the 3-year was up, we then become on a yearly basis. They're no longer really offering the program we belong to called Essential. They'd like to see us up the program and get more support, more education, be proactive at a cost of $1,800 a month at $18,000 a year. That prompted me to start looking for sure. I did follow up on the tech group, who is also out of Burlington. And also I've also spoken to the representative that used to work for Dominion, but left Dominion. Dominion is becoming very large. They don't usually like to handle small businesses anymore. They like the big ones. So this tech group that I've gotten in touch with can give me as much support, if not more, for, I think on the last page, I might have sent a copy to you guys today. I'm sorry it was late, I forgot to give it to you. It would come for a total of $1,001 a month So we would be looking at $12,012 a year. And that's for unlimited support, remote support. Typically, that's $140 an hour if I were to need them. That covers our emails, our backup. They'll also do what's called proactive, so they'll watch the age of our computers, recommend when we need to change our computers. It's the whole 9 yards. So my recommendation is, it's a $500 one-time onboarding fee. So on the proposal that I sent you shows the 500, that's a one-time thing, and it'll come here for half a minute. I'm looking at the $656 a month for the email security management. $225 for our server, which eventually he's hoping that we don't need a server. And then another $120 a month for email security backup for all of our emails. What else can I tell you about that?
Where are they at?
They are out of Burlington. South Burlington, which most of the ITs are. They do deal with 52 other towns. They have Springfield, so that alone made me feel really comfortable. Knowing that they dealt with Denmark, they're dealing with a lot of municipalities. Their philosophy is they like to. We kind of got pushed out the small towns out of the big IT corps because they like to take on. We went to Dominia because Nemrick had their IT, and we worked with Theo. Nemrick decided to do away with IT. Theo went to Dominia, and we had such a great relationship with him. We kind of went to Dominion, then he left Dominion, and then we stayed. And so I'm just kind of following. I called several others and their prices are, everybody's increasing their prices. But this is a good deal, I think, and sound great.
Are you looking for a motion or just?
I am looking for a motion to accept the proposal, and if you could give Morgan authority to be able to sign that last page. And we're looking for a transition of the week of July 19th to do this, so I make the deadline before the August 1st. I'd like to go with a 2-year agreement. And if I find that this is an overkill and it's too, we don't really need that much service, at any time, we can go down to the next level. Or if we pick the lowest level and decide we need to go to the upper level, we can do that anytime we want. If I were to go into a 2-year, it locks this price in for the 2 years. If I go 1 year and it comes time for renewal for the next year, I take the new prices if there is an increase. So my eyes and all the experience we've been having in this last year, I just going to go 2-year and lock it.
So we want to make a motion to
So
accept. We have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it. It's all reasonable.
I have a question. It's only a 2-year lock, would be more, a 3 or 5-year lock?
They only offer the 1 and 2 is all they've offered so far. And if you could add in a motion for Morgan to sign it, give authority for Morgan to sign the proposal.
Got that?
I know.
Do we have any other discussion? For me, it's a no-brainer, you're saving $5,000, or a little more.
Too bad we need it, but
We have to have it, unfortunately.
that's the future, I guess, right?
All right, so, any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay. You all received the letter. For the short-term rentals. And I think you received the law. This presented, this. I know that, you complained about noise a couple weekends ago.
I didn't,
Well, somebody did.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did, but it wasn't me.
There was another complaint down here in town, so I figured that we need to do something. So, does everybody agree we should send a letter individually to these things, or?
The idea was to address it to each property owner and write in their address, so those blank lines, I would fill those in.
The problem seems to be is that people are having parties and loud music at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And they call the state police and they don't come, and they call the sheriff and they don't come.
Could you ask in that letter what Airbnb they go with? Because there's several out there, you want to mention too.
I didn't mention any specifics.
No, we would just send it to whoever the owners of the property are.
But I'm asking the owners of those properties, the state, what Airbnb.
What company they use?
Right,
You list Airbnb or VRBO.
Well, I can look at which ones they're posted on. Like in the list that I have with
but that's not
their,
gonna tell you what they're using.
well, if
Because
it's
each one has
posted on,
different-
if it's
How else do
posted
you know?
on.
Excuse me?
How else would you know? Of course, if they're on VRBO, let's say, then you know they're on VRBO, why are you asking? You know they're on.
Because each ERP can go out to all different Expedia, Trivia, whatever. It's a whole bunch.
But what difference does it make? You have,
Because each company has different specific things that the owner has to do to be on that thing. That's what I'm saying.
but if the letter goes to the owners of the home,
We're not, we're just saying, we saw your house was listed, right?
Yeah, I do have the list of Airbnb, short-term rentals. And I can write on that list where I pulled their information from, whether it was Airbnb.com or VRBO.
right, but I don't want to approve the letter, but I want the board to, is everybody in favor that we do this?
Yeah.
And because I'd like to see it refined a little more, but I mean, I don't want to do anything if the board doesn't want to send a website.
There's no teeth to it. I think it's maybe an exercise and,
Yeah.
but
Some kind of.
sure, do it. You
I
know,
mean, you have.
you gotta do
You
something.
gotta do something, because we can't do anything else.
I agree.
And there is, I mean, I thought there was a better ordinance for this, nighttime, but it says any person who between sunset and sunrise disturbs or breaks the public peace by firing guns, blowing horns, or other unnecessary and offensive noise shall be fined not more than $50.
I did call the first sergeant with the Wyndham County Sheriff's Department. They said there was an ordinance that had a very specific defined time. This was off the top of his head, but 10 PM until 6 AM was like quiet time, so they could get fined. But they updated the law and it only says between sunrise and sunset. So it's based on,
But we have the ability now with the ticket books to fine. So if somebody does do this, then we can send them for a $50 fine, that we can do. I mean, we have that.
How would that exactly work?
Yeah.
Well, to get a complaint. From
Yeah, but
the,
how would that all, get a complaint? You drop it in the mail, someone knock on the door, how would exactly
they
execute?
have a complaint to Morgan or to the board. And then the board can then write a letter to the municipal saying we $50 fine. I don't know. I mean, you gotta do something. If you can't, everybody's got a problem, even New York City's got a problem.
Oh, sure. Sure,
New York City they want to limit them.
sure.
And I read articles, I mean, this is nationwide, this is not Grafton or Chester or whatever, they become a real problem.
Or we could put together, what's gonna make.
So, I mean,
Chester has an ordinance specifically to regulate it. And they charge a fee, an annual fee, if you're gonna rent in their town. And then for the enforcement of the different mechanisms, either you can pay their fine or that is in lieu of. I mean, you go to court, basically. That's how they enforce it.
but they have a police force and everything.
Yeah, Police force,
Yeah.
because they're all civil penalties. I mean, maybe the police go out there and give them a civil ticket, but.
I mean, if you think it'll help, do it. I mean, I'm not optimistic it'll do a whole lot, but
Okay, well,
yeah, you know.
Then we'll just,
I hope it does.
we'll refine the letter, to everybody.
What-
Does there have to be an underlying ordinance to do this?
To send a letter out, no. But if you need an ordinance, if you're going with. You know, if you're gonna have fees and fines and things like that.
Yeah, make them register with us.
Yeah, that's not what you're saying.
Taking care of that. Yeah,
That's why we haven't think they've ever done it.
I mean,
right, right.
no, it's like this, that's pumping ordinance, that is an ordinance. So if they don't do it, then, so you have to have an ordinance for the Airbnbs,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, and I'm not
That's what I've
saying,
been advocating for a year.
I'm not saying we should or shouldn't, but let's take this preliminary step and see what happens. And then we can always talk about it.
Often these Airbnbs say how many people in your ad, they'll hold 10 people, 15 people, 14 people, and what happens? People, like one person will rent, and they fill that house up more than the 10 people.
Sure.
And then you have, say, 3-bedroom house,
Yeah.
it's 1,000 gallon tank. And if it's over 4 bedroom and up, it's the highest septic tank.
Chester's ordinance prescribes the maximum number of people. you have.
Right.
That's why I think we need an ordinance.
I guess it's not just the Airbnbs or there's some rentals, there are people who own properties who come up here and shoot guns all night too, so couldn't there be an ordinance about noise, not just for the short-term rentals, but just in general for quality of life purposes?
You mean a noise ordinance? Yeah, we did.
You're not gonna shoot.
I mean, you
guns.
can't enforce it, you can't enforce it anymore than you can enforce the septic zoning thing, but you have it.
Well, all right, let's do the letter, but I think ultimately we should have some kind of ordinance going forward. I mean, that's.
I circulated a memo about the Chester ordinance a while ago.
Yeah, I saw.
I can resend it so we can look at it and see if they did.
Well, which town across the street, don't they have an ordinance if they're doing a wedding and a party, don't they have? At
10
11
o'clock.
o'clock?
It's
10
written,
o'clock or 11?
It's not, well, it used to be 10, I don't know.
it's in there, it's there.
Oh, is it?
They have, in all of their wedding contracts, they have, just like be respectful of the neighbors, we ask that you quiet down after 10. I think it's 10 o'clock. But I don't think it's any like formal.
But if they do an ice bar or something like that, is it with extended hours?
No.
No,
It's shut.
And I also recall when the new owner or the current owner of Riverledge was looking for the 250 approval. They were asked, I believe by Act 50, to limit any outdoor activity and noise like music at 10 o'clock. And
Yeah, that's true, because I leased that farm a couple of years ago, and it's right in their contract.
I'm sure that's in ponds, they have the same problem.
Right. Yeah, but these are policies that individual businesses have. I mean, the town itself doesn't have any, and I think it would be a good idea to have it.
But actually 50 demanded that. I believe.
Right, but it's just an individual residence, of course, couldn't go out of it, sorry.
Well, if anybody knows any houses that are being rented on a regular basis, we can include that. I mean, we're not aware of it.
So do I send the letter?
We're gonna redo it and then we'll have the board approve it the next meeting.
Who's gonna redo it?
You and I are gonna go over it and then we're gonna send it to the board and they're gonna
Okay,
they're gonna approve it.
I didn't know if I was putting it in the mail tomorrow.
No, I don't send anything out to the.
Okay.
board.
All right, good, we're good.
I'll resend out this memo and we can talk about this again. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I think if we put it back on the agenda again, I think this is a worthy topic to speak, to talk about.
Do you think you'll have it done by the end of the month?
What?
Like next week,
Yeah.
well, it has to be approved by the board.
Yeah, never mind.
I'm not sharing report that I'm going to add, I'm gonna address the.
Okay, I just like to put the letter in myself. I just.
All right, bridge replacement project update. Can I do it? Yeah, all right.
last Tuesday, I met with Carolyn Coder and Gary DeRocher of V-Trans on Walker Bridge. They had received 2 bids, which was within $29,000 of each other. But it was 38% over the estimate that the state had given of the bridge. But they went to the review board and went over it, and they came up that that would probably be the best that they could come up with. It would do no good to re-advertise it. It would probably, you would get no bids or higher bid. So they recommended the low bidder, who was Old River Colvett of Walpole. And they wanted the town to okay. Yeah,
So we have to, okay.
yes, you don't have a choice. I asked her.
No, I don't even.
And she said, I said, well, what if we don't okay it? She said, well, there's a possibility we could declare that that bridge is unsafe. And then you would be liable for the whole $10 million. So
what's the
it was not much. What you had. It's the bid come in at $6.8 million. The contingencies and the engineering added to it, so the total is 9.5, 9.6. And which we're liable for 10%. So we have paid a little over $100,000 so far. And we have, I think, $270,000 in a fund for that bridge. So we could go probably, I would think, well into May or June of next year, what money we have before you have to borrow or bond for it. And I think what you'd have to consider is probably somewhere around $700,000. Either borrow or bond.
So what we okay this, you think that's
That's it.
gonna be the summer price or you think?
She said it shouldn't be any more than that. They're scheduled to start in July. But all they're gonna do is do some boring and approach work. Because the bridge is gonna stay 2-lane through the winter. And then in the spring, it'll start with the major work and be finished in November 24. The poles, I think the poles are down beside the road. And she said, well, they're scheduled for another month. Well, they're already here. So they were pushing forward without an okay.
So they're gonna do boring and what were you doing?
But
They're gonna do boring and what else?
bonding,
On
either borrow, it's a choice you have, either borrow.
No, they're gonna do, I think, how they're gonna start the work.
Oh, boring.
boring.
Oh, yeah. That's,
You mentioned something else around.
It's an offer we can't refuse.
Well, if somebody want to make a motion, we have no choice, and I have to accept it, so.
I'll make the motion.
we have to get back to them by noon tomorrow morning.
Right, yeah. So what's the exact amount? You're more, you know what it is?
I'll get it.
Of what?
The exact amount of it, please.
For something like that.
It should be in the motion.
9.512516.
You got that?
Yep.
Okay. So you made a motion, who seconded it?
Oh, I'll second.
We can have what, this one. We have a discussion anyway. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed? Okay. I mean, it's nothing, we can't do anything about it, the way it is. Okay, Ken, you're on the loan and,
The loan versus bond.
yeah,
So this was put on here, and I'm just gonna give you a quick update, but come to find out, after talking with them, Carol and I sat in on a meeting with John and Morgan. Major payments aren't gonna be needed probably until next fall, or next spring, before they really start getting into it. Small amounts will be coming in when they start in July. So our 270 that's in our reserve should carry us, and she agreed to that should carry us for the payments that might need to be made prior to that. So we don't really have to dive right into a bond or a loan right now. I did make some calls to find out where we stand and what they will accept us. So again, I called TD Bank. TD Bank does not do a line of credit. which is kind of what I was leaning towards, is a line of credit we did with the town garage, we borrowed 100,000, had a line of credit for a year, only paid the interest on it, and then closed it at the end of the building project and turned it into a loan. TD won't do that, and they won't go out any further than 10 years. Community will go out 15 years, they will give us a line of credit, in fact, they gave me an approval for 900 if I wanted. I said anything from 7 to 9, tentatively. I got the approval for that. Right now, interest rates aren't what they used to be. The town garage was 2.65, now we're looking at anywhere from 4.5 to 5.25. I don't know what it will be when we're ready to borrow. Bonding, and I haven't heard from VLCT Bond Bank. They were off today. Everybody seems to think bonding is more for like if you had a $90 million project, to them 900,000 is just a drop in the bucket. That would be more loan. You have so many more issues with bonding. You have to have a bond counselor to even begin starting the project. You have to have so many meetings, so many advertising. There's a whole lot more entailed in bonding. Interest rate could be a little bit better, but then again, they could not. And whether or not you can do a line of credit with them on a bond, I'm thinking not, but I don't know that for sure until I talk to the LCT. So now we have a little bit more time. We thought we were really pressured. But after talking to Carolyn, we're not as pressured as we thought.
Well, maybe the interest rates will come down.
That's a possibility too, but at least I know Community Bank said not a problem, if, you know, they'll help us out between $700,000 and $900,000 if that's the case.
Did you check with Walpole Bank or any other banks?
I did go into Walpole. Walpole is a savings bank. I'm looking more towards the bigger banks like credit unions, will do loans like that on their. TD definitely does not. M&T, yeah, M&T is not very good. I'm not very good about it. I hate to say that, but I don't know who uses M&T, but yeah, so I've not researched.
What's the other bank in Walpole? Maybe it's a credit.
There's no. Yeah, and what's really hard is when you don't have any kind of a relationship, you don't get the quick service and in the flexibility that I've had with a bank you've had relationships and everything with.
So it seems like we really don't have a rush at this moment.
We don't have to.
So we could keep exploring, maybe the interest rates will come down, who knows what can happen.
Yeah, but we definitely, you know, need to be, we can get something through without a problem.
All right. Okay, you're on, Rich. You gotta open up the sand and paving bit. So which way to do first? So,
Let's do Santa.
So there's only 1%.
you know what we're paying now?
I don't know off the top of my head.
You know what we're paying now?
Hey, the only sand bill is from Eastern Sand and Gravel. 3,000 yards, $19.95 per yard. For a total of $59,850.
That delivered or that
I think he put two in, one for delivered and one for not delivered.
Was it 19 what?
$19.95 per yard. It's like price of one. Shall be delivered, so that it must be a delivery. It shall be delivered to the town garage at 220 Bell Road by November 3rd.
That's not bad.
well, that's delivered.
What was that 59,850?
59850. Contract shall be- He said it twice, the contractor shall deliver approximately 3,000 yards of 916 sand to garage by the 3rd of November. Sand shall be free of loam, clay, and other foreign substances, free of large particles. The federal will have to provide it. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Okay, so under our policy, we don't accept the bids tonight, right?
Right.
So they go,
Mike will look over them.
yeah, Mike will look over and then it'll be on the agenda for next.
Next week.
So he didn't have anything for non-delivery, it's all just delivered.
Oh, yeah.
If that's with delivery, right, so he didn't have another bid without.
No, there's only one in there. All right, all set with the paving one?
In the past, Colby, have you picked up?
What's that?
In the past, has the town not have it delivered, but you go pick it up?
I believe we were paying 60,000 for it and we were picking it up. I think it was in there.
We were picking it up for a long time. And
The bid that we sent out, it said it's required to be delivered. So it was expected that they
So,
Look at it.
deliver it to the town garage.
It says it twice that it's delivered.
He knows.
also, but Morgan is indicating that the bid went out at a delivered price.
Yeah, Palmer knows it's supposed to be delivered, but we
Yeah.
told him
it was
that.
10 times the delivered price.
All right, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Good deal. There's all kinds of money for it. We need it, we got a $9 million price to pay for. All right, paving, this was Springfield paving. Yeah. About this, so. So this. They broke it down in I guess this is ours, right? You broke it down in the 3 different
Yeah, and then the
categories.
fourth line should be the grade.
Type 4 hot mix, like, so I don't know much about it. 87.65 per ton for a total of $57,410.75. Then you got the top 3 hot mix top coat, 86.65 tons at 113,251.55. Then the mill, $3 per SY, I don't know what that is, square yards.
Square
Yeah. but-
$34,848 for a total bid is $205,510.30.
What was that from?
That was Springfield paving
and insurance is in there.
and insurance as well.
Rick, was insurance in the sand one too?
Guess what?
Was the insurance in the sand one as well?
Oh, I didn't see that. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. No, no.
They'll have to, you'll have to sign a certificate. in.
Okay, the next one is gonna be Basin Brothers. The insurance is right on top, and this gentleman, Basin Brothers, the total of $203,794.80. And I think the tons are a little bit different, though, no? This was a little cheaper, and he's saying a little more tonnage on the type 4 hot mix, a little bit more on the type 3 hot mix.
That's price per ton to do it. Okay, right?
Yeah,
That's where Mike has to go take a look at it.
yeah, because I,
Make sure that we're getting,
So what's the bottom line?
the overall price of $203,794.80.
What was that? Basin?
That was Basin, and the insurance is in there. Okay, last but not least. I don't know who this is. But we will find out. Not a rescue no more, we're gonna have to help. I can't track myself up. I lost my EMT, well, I didn't lose it, they gave it up. Man. Insurance is in there. And this is from EMI paving around Brattleboro. And quite a bit more. The bottom line is $294,618 even.
All right, so we'll like take a look at all this stuff and then we'll feel it at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
What, I don't know why it's on here, can waive homestead late penalty fee?
Yes, each year when we, produce our tax bills, which will be coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks. For those who did not file an HS 122, like you're supposed to by April 15th, and then the state gives you to October 15th. But if you go after April 15th, they can impose a late fee, which is 8%. And the towns have the option to just waive that and not charge them a late fee on top of already having to pay their taxes. So we've been waiving it for the last few years so that they don't get an additional charge because they filed after April 15th. And I'm asking again this year if you would waive the late fee penalty. It's a box I have to check off when I do the taxes.
Why are they always late?
Some people get extensions and don't remember to file the HS 122 prior to an extension. Not everybody files it by April 15th. Or they forget they have to do an HS 122 and they do it after the fact. But an 8% penalty. The tax bill is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Individual.
How many bills are late? Give the average?
If we didn't waive it, I might have had probably 4 individuals. And it was pretty pricey for the 4. Some you know that it would be okay, and others it would be quite a burden for them. So we just kind of was like, okay, let's just waive it. And it's so confusing anyways to so many people, especially those who are on Social Security and do not even have to file a tax. But now we have to keep reminding them, you need to file a tax just so you can file your HS 122. And then to impose a tax on top of fee on top of that for being late. It's, yeah, the town does keep the 8%. It's not like it goes to the state, but it doesn't, another penalty to charge a taxpayer in these hard times.
Good reading between laws, you're saying the people that have been late, although these not quite. How should I say it?
We've waived
Up on things, yeah.
this in the past.
We waived it the past.
Well, it's not like they're not paying their taxes.
No.
They're
It's not like
filing some form.
they're filing late, or they're forgetting to file that HS 122. Or their accountant.
I would to waive the late penalty.
I'll second.
All right, any other discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
That is,
Opposed? Okay. Kobe, you want to give the highway report?
I'm just catching up on grading with the good weather and mowing and working on the culvert on North Orchard Road right now too. And some grant work on Anderson Road. That's about it, as long as the weather permits it.
The truck is all back, everything is back.
No, we do have one truck still going. It's getting new sprinkler in it. And inspection, but other than that, everything's going, so mower's back going again. And grader's back. So,
Are you gonna do any weed whacking?
technically, well, I mean, can, but I don't know. You kind of gotta be careful with it now because of poison parsnip and stuff, I mean. If one of the guys gets it, then you're gonna put someone down for a long time, you're gonna be paying them. While they're gone for a long time, so. I don't know. That'd be a question for Mike, I have no idea about that.
Well, in the past, Walter and his crew
Yeah.
would do the bridges.
I'll deal with her now.
And we went around the guardrails and stuff.
But it never really got done.
I don't think it's really, I don't think it's worth it, I mean, maybe in town, in a couple places, but out on 121, out in the woods somewhere. You're better off just mow that, just keep after mowing it, I think. Otherwise, I just feel like it's gonna be a waste of money. Plus, we don't really have time for the three of us to go out and weed whack right now. And I gotta focus on this grant work and especially grading, so yeah, everything would be graded because we haven't been able to do the rain. So,
So mowing is on once or twice,
what's that?
you do the mowing twice a year, once a year?
Again, I don't know, this is my first year here, so I don't know how many times they did it last year.
They just do them once a year.
Yeah, but on the heavy areas of the.
Yes, the bamboo will get mowed as we should. But the main drags, is probably by the time he gets, David gets around everything, it's gonna be about it. Yeah, I mean, one guy, it's probably gonna take him most of summer to get everything mowed. He got half a picture hill done today. So. He's gonna start on, out to the valley and 121-35 next. Get those ones done, maybe mow the big ones twice, but other than that, the little side road, that's not. He's gonna spend more time messing
Yeah.
around,
With all the rain.
yeah.
we've had, it
Well-
needs to just not studied.
Yeah.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Kim, are you, something like clerk treasurer, or is that on there?
I don't have much other than the end of our fiscal year is coming. I think I sent you guys an expenditure report today, just for you, just to look over, see where we're standing before. We have one more pay period and one more, AP to go through. Which falls exactly on June 30th, so that will end our fiscal year and let you know where we're at, it looks worse than it is, I don't know if anybody had looked at it yet or not.
Oh, I don't think it's that bad. I mean,
It's not bad, you can see where like town government is, $42,000 already overspent, we still have one more to go.
Did you go there and see where, have you stayed for 2 weeks left?
Yeah, that's what I did, so we're not really, I mean, at 42,000 is in the negative, is what it's looking like. But I rated all the areas, and we actually have grant coverage of what we spent in town government of 37,547. So we got 37,000 that's charged in the expenditure, but it's sitting in the revenue because of this grant.
I went over it, and it looks to be like you've got about $25,000 left in the last 2 weeks.
Exactly, that's about, because we have some reserve that's covering it also, so. And on the highway side. It's pretty close, we do have some flood that was in there that's gonna be. That is returned to that one there, so.
Remember,
At all, I think we're gonna be, just about right.
that grader, that was not in the budget.
Right, exactly, yeah, so, also, I'm not sure how we follow with meetings and setting the tax rate. So as soon as grievances are done and we have the final grand list, and June 30th, I get the educational tax rate, we combine the two. The municipal tax rate will have to be set and approved by the board before I can print tax bills.
Well, we can have a special meeting with
We
this.
may have to have, just like, we have to have a special one, just so I can get tax bills done by the second week of July.
Right. Okay. Personnel, do you have anything? I know we don't do executive session, but is there anything you need to talk about?
We did meet with, Colby and Dave today. We'll have to meet with, and Morgan, we did 3 today, and, Still have to meet with Mike. But he was out.
Okay.
And the reviews. We did with fun. And we'll talk more. In executive session.
Do we have any other business? Do we have any-
Did you want to talk about the holiday?
No, you did.
Michelle from the library stopped in and mentioned about Juneteenth as the holiday. And had just said that 40% of states were recognizing it as a holiday. So just wanted to bring it to your attention. She's bringing it to the library board. I think hoping for the day as a holiday.
And next year, yeah,
Next year.
because it's federal, the post office is closed, the banks are closed, and we did have, I don't know, 5 or 6 people. Why are you open today? It's. I mean,
Is it a Vermont holiday?
No, it's federal holiday.
it's a federal holiday.
I thought I saw the governor signed something today. Oh, I saw.
Yeah, I probably did, but that's like the state is not working on Juneteenth Day, the VLCT, they're not working, and the banks and the post office is not, so.
Students, we should still go.
So,
Yeah, schools are closed also.
so am I to understand that she wants the town to have a
She
holiday?
was just inquiring, didn't know.
She thinks we should consider it, because she's gonna take it to her board and let them consider it, but it's something to be brought up.
Can we let the person up committee deal with that?
It doesn't have to be decided. I said it doesn't have to be decided right now, just brought to your attention.
Any other business? No. All right, public comment? Go ahead.
So my public comment pertains to the next agenda item about the next regular meeting, July 3rd.
It'll be on July 4th.
Probably not.
What is the holiday?
The 4th is a Tuesday.
Right.
and Monday is July 3rd.
So when I'm like, then we can review.
We could have a meeting that day.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that that is the night of the traditional VSO concert. Picnicking starts at 5:30, concert at 7:30. Hope that everybody comes. I mean, if you guys want to have a meeting at 6 o'clock, you can still make it to the concert.
What do you want to?
Sorry, we ought to put it on a different date.
That's what.
Either that,
Yeah.
you want to do it, you gotta do that Wednesday.
Why can't you do the next Monday?
Maybe we just do it earlier?
We move it to like
I mean, you could do it at 5 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
But people going away,
Yeah, who
you
doesn't?
know,
It's a holiday for a lot of people, folks.
So what is your pleasure? We have to have a meeting, so the question is, you want to do it?
What about the next
is
Monday?
it gonna hurt anything to skip it and then go to the 17th?
Because of the tax rate. Well, let's just say, if you did the fifth, we might be able to squeeze some tax rate in at the same time. I'll have to check with the listers at their calendar.
Well, whatever you want to do, it's fine with me.
You have to check with the school.
So.
You know,
For what?
Okay.
No, I'll have it school rate by June 30th.
Oh, you.
Yeah, the state sends that to me.
Oh.
Yeah, Brad Jean sends it to me. And I'll have that by the 30th. It's the listers, whether they'll be done with the grand list, which they're anticipating being done, and then we go 2/3 of one stone.
Well, so if July 4th is on a Tuesday, when is the tax? When will we have to vote on the tax?
The following, let's see, so the 3rd, I would like to print them by the 10th. I have to have them in the mail by the 15th. It's gotta be.
Well,
the
so
30th.
why don't we have a meeting on the 10th? Monday the 10th.
I thought you didn't tell me.
I kind of have to have the municipal rate. I mean, that means I can't print them on Monday.
Well, you said, oh.
But this gives me, Tuesday,
Wednesday,
Thursday
good.
to get them done.
You want to do the 5th?
At 6.
I will.
Okay. Is that okay with everybody?
So,
What was it, 5th?
Yeah,
July 5th at 6 p.m.
the 6th, right?
Yes.
Any other public comment? Okay, so then the next regular meeting will be on Wednesday, July 5th, at 6 p.m. here. All right, Now we need a motion to go into executive session. To deal with activities. Thank you, Evan. Thank you for coming, everybody.
Oh, yes.
Please go to you, Joe, or Morgan.
No,
Was there a motion to go into executive session?
no, we're making that. So we need a motion to go.
Yeah.
Sorry. Kathy did said that. Now it's done, whatever the title is.
Yeah,
Well, you're all, Gary, you know.
yes, I will do that, yeah.
We really need. Yeah, you mean a bit.
I do.
Oh, you mean the.
Can you just take, you know, like when you accident? Yes.